We're hanging out at the 2014 Soundwave Festival. Him is a band. Ville is the lead singer, and he joins me for a chat now. How are you?
Pretty good fighting the jet lag, but this is the best way of doing so, having a chat with lovely people.
You think I'm lovely now? I might not be that way by the end of the interview.
Well, there's different levels of lovely, so I'm sure that you'll make it.
Yeah, even if it's scummier down the bottom, that's fine, still lovely.
Indeed.
Look at you, you're a charming man straight up, and we haven't even got to those charming questions yet, so we'll get there eventually and find more out about you later on.
Fair enough, I just think that you've been here way too long. It's been a long day for you, so you read me extremely wrong.
So I wanted to kick things off firstly. Firstly, there's two Mikos in the band, is that right? How do you guys... And one Mika. Not to get confusing at all, but how do you guys determine who's who? Say you want to call one out. Have you got nicknames for them yet, or...?
Yeah, obviously we have nicknames, and we do spend a lot of time on the tour bus, so we do recognize each other's body odors and farts and stuff like that, so we can basically be blindfolded in the bus and not speak at all and still know who's who. Our drummer is slightly obese, so is our bass player, so we have that sort of like that level too.
So if anything goes wrong, can you pinpoint the one that always stuffs up all the time? Like if you go, Miko, is he the one that always gets in trouble?
There isn't one actually. That makes the touring, that makes it interesting. And usually I'm the one blaming everybody else, but I should be blaming myself. So it's a friendly competition, let's put it that way.
Now, Gothic love songs, that's the best way to say what hymn's genre, is that right?
Well, we used to call our genre love metal.
Yep.
Just because of, there was so many genres in general. I had black metal, white metal, Christian metal, speed metal, thrash metal, whatever. So it was our kind of like middle finger towards the categorization and putting stuff into the box. So I think it's rather melancholy, rock and roll with dirty, fuzzy guitars, but a very sentimental heart.
Now, have you ever got down and funky to your own music? Because it is, let's face it is quite soothing. It is quite sexy too. But have you ever flicked it on and gone, hey babe, let's chuck on some Sweet 6-6 right now?
I think it's more being about solo work. but yeah, you got to test your product.
I wanted to have a chat about this. Could I say, if it wasn't for Bam Margera, we probably wouldn't know that you guys existed down here in Australia?
It's really tough to say. Actually, I'm hoping not, because meeting up with Bam was such a special thing. It's such a chance meeting, a thing that you can't buy with money, or, the stars were aligned, and that's what happened. And he's been great help for our band, and so has the advent of the internet and all that stuff. Because when we went to, for example, North America for the first time, we hadn't sold nearly any records, but all the clubs were sold out. And we're wondering, I think it's the Bush radio and the internet and MP3s and the file sharing. So there's good points regarding that too.
Talking about Bam, actually, who's the guy who actually invented the heartogram? Was it you or him?
Oh, it was me. Yeah. I drew it down. It was, I think, on the day I turned 20, because I was looking for. I loved the visuals for like Rob Zombie and then the symbols for Led Zeppelin and all that stuff. So, and I thought that him, as in lettering, just the three letters, was so boring that we needed some kind of symbol that would be more than just words or letters. So I was working on that for a long, long time, and then I came up with the idea of combining the pentagram and the heart. And then at some point, BAMCon took over. They started using it everywhere without asking permission, but it's fine, because I think that at the end of the day, that symbol has become something way larger than our band or BAM. It's just traveled the world extremely well, and a lot of people who don't necessarily appreciate our music so much, they still like the symbol, and they love what it brings to each and everybody's mind. So that's a great compliment, and I consider that my best work so far.
Now, I have to say, I've seen quite a few heartogram tattoos from time to time. You've probably seen millions by now, right?
Oh, well, I've seen quite a few, and very, very odd places and odd sizes and shapes, and I was just laughing about it. I'm really honored about the fact that I haven't met anybody who would laser it off yet. So they're still there. You're a
trendsetter, man.
Well, I think no one man can be a trendsetter. It's just a combination of very, very many things. I don't want to take the blame for the entire mishap.
Do you still get excited whenever you see one, or whenever you see a new version of it online, or if someone comes to your show?
Yeah, of course. It's been crazy that people are so. It's also one of those things that when you start a band, you don't know who is going to follow, if any, what you do. And in our case, people have been really passionate for many, many years, and they try to find their own lyrical interpretations, like really odd ones at times, and blah, blah, blah. But that's something you can't decide in advance that, we're going to have a really loyal fan base. We just try to do what we can, the best we can, and we've been blessed on various levels.
It eventually pays off in the end, in the long run.
Well, not necessarily monetary, but, it's we get a few smiles out of it.
There you go. That's perfect. That's the thing that you want too. Now, talking earlier about being charming, you've also been voted by your fans as a bit of a sex symbol too. What's the key, do you think, to remaining such a good-looking bloke fronting a band like this?
Photoshop. I guess. I think that's one way of doing it. I don't know. I think it's the file sharing. We don't get as many royalties, which means that we don't get as many free beers. We can't afford proper 80s rock star life anymore. So that makes us rather gaunt and skinny and haunting and that sort of thing. So to be honest with you, I don't know. For me, it's all the same why people might like what we do. But I'm hoping that one of the band members' physical aspect or whatever, if it leads towards the music, then it's great. Or whether it's a symbol, or whether it's spam, or whatever it might be. So I think it's all a bonus.
Now, one of the things we wanted to do to come here today was to get fans a little bit closer to their favourite artists, and we've got a couple of fan questions. Is this way to go into them? All right, this one comes from Kyla. How much of Australia have you seen, and would you like to go on a personally guided tour of the Outback with her?
Sure. I'd love to see a bit more of the country, but then again, what I do like about touring is that when you're on tour and you're on a pretty heavy schedule, is that you only get a glimpse, which means that it maintains the hunger. So you want to come back, you don't get bored as you would maybe. I'm not saying that you would here, but if you just go on a touristy thingy, when you're actually touring, a bit busy all the time, you just get these little glimpses. And next time around, I remember Pig and Whistle, that pub down the street, and then you can go there, and then you can get one pub further. And also, while on tour, you get to meet local people from a different perspective, so you get to see a different aspect and an angle of a country that you regularly would.
Like come here on tour, you're here for music, people come and see you that way. But if you come here on a holiday, people can have a chat with you because you're not here to play music, you're here to check it out.
Sure, indeed, and I've always been bad at having holidays. And to a certain extent, I consider being on tour a holiday because the only thing we have to concentrate is to shaking our hips and screaming a bit. So we don't have to think about the everyday stuff, paying the bills and buying toilet paper and that kind of regular stuff. So it's kind of nice when you're able just to concentrate on one essential thing.
And the last one comes from Dave. Was it him's intention to attract the emo goth demographic when it started out, or was it just part of life, how it all came out?
I don't know how the whole emo thing. In Europe, we never really had emo. I always considered emo being emotional hardcore. So it comes from a very different genre. It's just hardcore music with a bit more heart, and it's not so politically involved. That's how I consider emo. But then it changed. It's like the goth scene. It's very different in America. In some places more like industrial music or techno-ish music, but it's more about the get-up. Then in Germany it's really kind of literal Dracula type stuff. And then in England or in Finland it's more about Sister of Mercy. It's all about the hats, hats and smoke and amphetamines. So ice, I think they call it here, but so dry ice, I guess in this case. But but no, there's no intentions, and oddly enough, we were put into that category a couple of times, and I didn't know what it means, and I still kind of don't. So I don't mind, I don't think that any category is necessarily negative.
Because as long as you put the music out, as long as the fans love it, that's all you care about in the end?
Yeah, and you can't like draw a box and fit yourself there first. You just got to do what you do and then see later on how people perceive you. And thankfully enough, we've been perceived in very, very different ways in different countries, which makes it exciting for us. We have different kinds of fans and, skateboarders in some places and goth heads some place and also people from all ages, really young people and very, not necessarily super old, but let's say between 6 and 60. And I think that's a good range.
There you go, it's perfect. And it's just one big loving family who just all love everything about him.
Hopefully, yeah. That sounds... I'm sweating again.
Excellent, man. Well, thank you so much for the chat. I absolutely love having you here. Come back again soon.
We shall.